All right, welcome everyone to this evening's Power Up series. We are discussing grounding tonight. So we look forward to hearing all about how we can ground. All right, Lisa, thank you.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the grounding course. We're going to learn a lot today about grounding and how powerful it actually is, how simple it is, and how cheap it is actually for all of us to start our health in the right direction. Give me a second while I share the screen. Okay, can everybody see that okay? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I was going to put it full screen, but it keeps changing automatically, and I'm not sure why. So I'm just going to leave it like this if everybody can see it okay. So today's course is about grounding. So the simple fact of stepping on the ground. So to excuse me, to live a truly healthy life, we must provide everything our body needs to function efficiently. Proper nutrition, clean drinking water, and sunshine are all key elements. But did you know that the Earth's energy is essential to our health as well? Somewhere on Earth right now is a lightning storm, and this lightning strikes the Earth thousands of times per minute, which charges the Earth with negative ions. Negative might seem like a bad word, but negative is actually good in negative ion aspects. So, negative ions are actually negatively charged electrons, but they are in no way negative to our health. The atmosphere above the Earth has a positive charge. So, since we're electrical beings, this negative to positive connection creates a flow of current, just like a battery would. And when the current is flowing, we are literally being recharged. And how many of us could use some extra energy? You know, we all feel like this, I think, at this point. We all can use some extra energy. Our society is killing itself. We used to be connected to the earth, we used to grow our own foods, and grounding yourself was as simple as working the soil with your hands. Now we rely on others to grow our food. We live in buildings, we work in buildings, we drive everywhere instead of walk. We're rarely outside, and we wear the rubber soled shoes that we have. They disconnect us from the healing energies of the earth. On top of all of this, we're swimming in a soup of electrical magnetic frequencies, which we talked about before. Signals from our Wi Fi routers, our smart TVs, our computers, our cell phones, our cell towers, and many other devices are slowly but surely discharging our energy. What do you do with a battery that no longer works? You throw it away because it's dead, or you can recharge it, right? Lucky for us, we have rechargeable batteries. We've been gifted with this subtle energy, and all we have to do is touch the earth to accept it. Right now, our bodies are starving. Because of this toxic environment that we live in, our bodies become positively charged. Free radicals and oxidative stress are overriding our bodies. They damage your cells and your DNA, which lead to illness and aging. Now, many of you probably take an antioxidant like CoQ10, zinc, or beta carotene, but you would actually need to take handfuls of these antioxidants to eliminate the free radical damage in this day and age. Simply grounding yourself to the earth will flood your body with negative ions and neutralize the effects of damaging free radicals and oxidative stress. Grounding will also increase the absorption of your antioxidant supplements and increase their healing ability. Grounding is very easy. You simply take off your shoes and place your feet on the earth. Dirt, sand, stone, and cement, not asphalt, but cement, are all conductive. So standing on any of these will send the negative ions shooting throughout your body, seeking and destroying those damaging positive ions. Grass is a bit conductive, but a bit insulating too. If it's your only option, please use it. And if you think you don't have time to ground, that's hogwash. No amount of time is too short, and any amount of time will benefit you greatly. The instant you ground yourself, your muscle tension drops, the voltage of your body drops drastically. And I'll show you that at the end of this presentation with my voltmeter here. Your brain waves will change and your levels of pain decrease. When you ground for just a few minutes, it improves organ function. You increase blood viscosity. You increase blood circulation. You increase oxygenation, and you stabilize your blood glucose. Grounding for just a few hours has been shown to improve bone health and prevent osteoporosis. Thyroid function is boosted and cortisol levels improve. And of course, cortisol is the stress hormone, right? Grounding for several days, you will see a reduction in pain and a quicker recovery time after physical stress. But really, grounding every day is the key. Diseases that are said to increase with age are actually diseases that increase with inflammation. Grounding douses the fires of inflammation and promotes anti-aging, anti-dementia, and anti-cancer. Some other benefits that are found with grounding are better sleep, increased energy, less stress, headache relief. It also reduces hormonal symptoms. It eliminates jet lag, and it protects against man-made electrical magnetic frequencies, the EMFs in our environment. And like I said, no amount of time is too short. Any amount of time will greatly benefit you. So take your shoes off and walk to the mailbox. Step outside at night in your bare feet and watch the stars for a while. Take your lunch break in the park and sit by a tree. If you feel uncomfortable going barefoot, then find a good pair of leather moccasins, not the ones with fur inside and rubber on the bottom, though. You need real leather moccasins, with the sole being completely leather as well. Leather is conductive, and wearing these will ground you as well. The Native Americans knew that. They aren't as good as bare feet, but they're better than nothing. And now, too, they also make grounding shoes that are more even with rubbered soles, but they have rivets, metal rivets in the rubber soles that conduct to the earth as well. So there's some cool options out there. You can even, if you have your own pair of, your favorite sneakers or something, and you just don't want to part with them, you can buy your own rivet set on Amazon and make your own grounded shoes out of the rivet set for pretty cheap. With our busy lifestyle, sometimes even finding a few minutes to yourself is impossible. So these may not be an option for you, but the good news is you can also ground yourself indoors as well. And there are many products made now which can connect us to the earth while we're sleeping, working, on our computer, watching TV, and even driving. The driving portion, not so much. They say it's grounding you while you're driving, but you're really just discharging some energy. You're not really truly grounding. A rod directly in the ground is the best option. So if you see this cord over here, this cord, the small end would connect to a grounding mat, and then this rod would go directly in the ground outside. And that usually creates a better connection than directly to the outlet, which is what I'll show you here in a minute. But a rod directly in the ground is the best option, but using the ground portion of an electrical outlet can be beneficial as well. Just use the tester to make sure the outlet is actually grounded. And once we go to full screen, I'll show you guys how to test the outlet, and I'll show you a grounding mat as well as the voltmeter and how to test your own body's energy. So we want to keep the voltage of our body as low as possible. A multimeter can be used to determine this. A typical healthy voltage reading from a multimeter is 0.005. And this is the voltmeter that I use. Astro AI, I believe it's called, digital multimeter and analyzer. I think it was $33, and there's a 20% off coupon right now on Amazon. The first voltmeter that I purchased, I wasn't able to use it because it didn't have enough decimal points. It has to be able to range out to 0.2 decimal points. And so this has a bunch of different ranges that you can set it to. It's a little more costly than the cheaper one that I had, but this one actually works. Excuse me, I didn't want to cough in your ear. Okay, the voltage of your body changes drastically or dramatically throughout the day, depending on what you're standing on and what's located in the environment around you. So for instance, if you're standing barefoot on the grass and you're in an open field, your voltage will be very low, around 0.005. But when you stand under a power line with shoes on, your voltage will jump to 0.6. That's 100 times higher than a healthy voltage. By simply removing your shoes while standing on the grass under the power line, your voltage will be reduced to 0.009. Now, if the grass were changed to concrete, the reading would be even lower, 0.02 volts. But if you were to stand on asphalt underneath this power line, the reading would skyrocket to 1.3 volts, even in your bare feet. Asphalt is not conductive. And power lines are so dangerous. I mean, people can take a fluorescent light bulb, one of those long tube lights, and just stand underneath the power line and hold it up, and it will light up because of the energy that's leaking out from it. The energy emitted from power lines is very dangerous. Also, when beehives are placed in the proximity of power lines, the colony dies, it collapses. When dairy farms are near power lines, the cows produce less milk and have more instances of miscarriages. And just imagine what they're actually doing to us. Now, power strips, how many of these do you have around your house or sitting underneath your desk right now? And I'm going to give you an example of a power strip without anything even plugged into it and show you just how dangerous these are. Most of us have at least one of these power strips under our desk, if not more. Electricity isn't confined just to the wire. It radiates out of the wire and into our bodies. The closer you get to this cord while in use, the stronger your body's voltage will become. And actually grabbing a hold of the cord will register a mega voltage increase, 8 volts. Mine, I registered before I started this live stream, and it was 16 volts just by grabbing the cord itself. Using a grounding mat at your desk will drop this 8-volt reading all the way down to 0.1. Now, some of these are just examples. It dropped mine, I believe, to 0.2, but there's a lot of things in my office too that are increasing my energy. It's not just the power cord. Now, how many of you have electrical outlets at the head of your bed? Plugging your phone into it, that's going to increase that electrical outlet energy even more. How many of you sleep with your phone right beside your bed? When you just have an outlet, which I think the standard height of outlets are about 3 feet in a standard house, so it's right by the head. These outlets are connected to a wire similar to the one on the power strip, and if this wire runs along your headboard, no wonder you're having sleeping problems. The electrical field is radiating your head. We had in our bedroom, our bedroom is in between my son's room when he was here. Excuse me for a second. My son's room was on the other side of ours, and our head was right at that wall, and his TV was on the other side. So our head was here, his TV was here. And we had a really tall headboard, and I just put aluminum foil on the other side of my headboard to prevent any of those frequencies coming over that I could. But I also sleep on a grounding mat as well, so that helps. Also, the further away from the earth you are, the higher your voltage will be. So if your bedroom's on the second floor of your home and you have outlets at the head of your bed, that's a double whammy. The voltage could be greater than 10 times that on the ground level. And most people's bedrooms are upstairs if they have a 2-story home. Just sleeping on a grounding mat, though, will reduce that reading drastically. Now, let's say, for instance, the reading from your second-story bedroom is 15 volts. You purchase a grounding sheet and have it on your bed. And when you lay on that sheet fully clothed, your voltage will drop to 3. Now, that's saying that is if your clothes are pure cotton, silk, or linen, because those are natural fibers that are conductive. If you have synthetic clothing on, you're not going to get grounded at all. So polyester, a lot of clothes are poly blends now. So you can't be grounded with the poly blends. Placing your bare feet on the grounding sheet, your bare feet on the grounding sheet will reduce your voltage even more, all the way down to 0.2 volts. And that's a dramatic drop from the 15 volts that you started with. Just imagine what the voltage is for those who live in a skyscraper. You know, the higher up you go. And then just to imagine, you know, you have, like, I have a long trip. I'm going to fly to India. It's like a 15-hour trip just on one of the flights alone. And you're way up in the sky, disconnected from that, which we talked about earlier in this, that one of the benefits of grounding is it eliminates jet lag, which I can see why. You know, you're really charged being up there. Now, you only need a little bit of bare skin contact with the mat or sheet to receive the benefits. Having more skin in contact does not increase the amount of grounding you will receive. So you really don't have to purchase an expensive grounding sheet that covers your whole entire bed. They even have grounding sheets that cover half of your bed. You don't even need that. You just need a pillowcase or a mat. And then I actually sleep with a mat, and I'll show you the kind of mat that I have right underneath my pillow. Because I'm a stomach sleeper, so my arms are tucked under my pillow and touching the grounding mat throughout the night. But they do have pillowcases like the one pictured here. And this is actually made with a silver thread that's conductive. And it's on both sides. So whenever you touch your pillow, you'll be grounded. Now we can see why grounding is so beneficial. We're swimming in a sea of invisible frequencies that claim our good health every day. Year after year, more technologies are invented and more frequencies are added to the sea. Right now, we're about nose deep, and very soon we'll be drowning. We need to do what we can to survive. You can either sink or swim. Grounding will keep you afloat for a while, but it's not a heal-all. It's much rather a tool to help with the real problems. And the real problems are the harmful energies in our environment, the dirty electricity, the geopathic stress, which we talked about before, the artificial lighting, the man-made electrical magnetic fields are all still part of our environment, and we have to deal with them. But the only way we can truly regain our health is to clean up our environment, which I don't see happening anytime soon. You know, even if you try to move someplace to get rid of, get out of these signals, it's kind of hard to do anymore. So we have to do what we can to protect ourselves from it, and grounding is one of the important tools to use. My website is pyramidsurge.com if you want more information. I do have an affiliate link on there for earthing.com for grounding products. They have some really good grounding products, and I like them because they send their books. Clint Ober, I believe his name is, did a lot of research with grounding. Let me stop my screen share. So he did a lot of research with grounding, and he includes, I think, 2 of his books now when you order any of the products through earthing.com.
Very good.
But I want to show you guys a little bit. Excuse me real quick. Okay, first of all, this is a grounding mat. I'm going to get it all tangled up here. This is the grounding mat that I use. It's a longer one, but there's a lot of different ones that you can use, different sizes. And it simply has a cord with a snap, which I wish they would make these a little bit different, because when you do sleep with them, it can easily be unsnapped sometimes. Some of them fit a little bit tighter than others, but if you're tossing and turning all the time, you might hit it and unsnap it. So just pay attention to that, but you want to snap it. And then this is the one I would just lay underneath my pillow. And I also have one on the floor underneath my computer here as well. Now the other end of the cord is caught in the wheel of my chair. Okay. The other end of the cord is one little prong, and this goes into the grounding outlet. So you're going to use your electrical outlet. Put this down here. So you're going to use a regular grounding outlet, if you guys can see this. But you're going to just plug it into the ground portion. Okay. You're not going to use the electrical portions, the two prongs, just the circle one. And that's where you're going to plug that into. Okay. Now, before you do that, and this is another reason that I like earthing.com products, is because they provide a tester to test your electrical outlets to make sure they're grounded, because a lot of people have issues with the grounding in their home. If you have older homes, you might not even have that grounding port there. So even if you use the adapter that makes it look like there's a grounding port, it might not even be grounded. So this is the tester, and it has the directions right on the top. It says if the right two lights, if these two lights light up, they're both orange. There's a red light and then two orange lights. If these two orange lights light up, that means it's correct. That means it's a grounding port. Well, I have to turn it this way, sorry. So these two orange lights, if they light up, then it will be grounded. So you can see only one of the lights, one of the orange lights is lit up, the other one is not. So this room and this whole side of my house, for some reason, the grounding ports are not working. So I have to actually run my grounding line either directly outside and use a grounding rod, or run it through my house and connect it to one of the other outlets that's actually grounded. Put this over. Now I actually have my voltmeter with me, and it's hooked up. So the only thing that you have to do for this voltmeter to read your body's energy, it's going to come with a red cord and a black cord, and they both look like this at the end. Okay. The red port goes into the red hole, and the black port goes into the COM, or the black hole there. Okay. Now the black one, like any standard black wire, usually is the grounding wire. And the only thing I did, and pretend this is the grounding wire. I can't show you it because it's connected out in my living room to my ground and I'm short on wire. But if this was the black cord when I first got it, I cut the wire in half and I just spliced it, frayed both of the ends, exposed some of the wire. And then I just got rid of this portion. I didn't use this portion. And instead I'm using this portion. So I got an extra wire, an extra one of these grounding wires, and you can buy them on Amazon. Spliced it as well, cut it off, but I kept the length of wire however long, and you want it pretty long when you're testing. So I would keep it as long as possible, okay? And then you're gonna just splice that wire onto the other one and wrap it with some electrical tape. So that black wire on my multimeter is now connected to the grounding port out in my living room after I connected, made sure that that grounding outlet worked. Okay. Now to read, excuse me, to read the voltage, you're going to want to click it up to the V It's voltage. I don't know if you guys can see it okay. It's like a V with a little swirl, like a little, I don't know what it's called, like a little wave type thing beside it. And then I hit the range button 2 times. So there's 2 decimal points. How can I mirror? I wonder how I can mirror this so you guys can see it better. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can do this. Video settings.
I mean, I can see
Okay.
it.
Can you see it okay now?
Oh,
Or is,
yeah, no, right there. Yep.
I mean, you can see the numbers okay. They're
Oh,
not
yeah,
backwards.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Good, good, good. Okay, so when you're going to test your body's voltage, all you're going to do once the black cord's grounded, you're going to hold the end of this probe. Just pinch it with your fingers. So right now, sitting in my office in front of a computer with a webcam and a microphone and speakers and my Starlink satellites over there too. My body voltage is 9.2. And you want it to be as close to 0 as possible. That's going to be the healthiest option. But I have a grounding mat right underneath my chair. Okay, right on the floor. So I'm going to step on my grounding mat and watch how drastically the voltage drops. 0.12.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So now I'm still holding on to the probe here. You're still reading my energy. I'm taking my foot off the grounding mat. Okay. Now I have a power strip behind me. It's plugged into the outlet. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. So, okay, I'm holding the power strip. This is hard because I'm doing it backwards. Okay.
More hands.
Holding the power strip and there's nothing plugged into it, but it is plugged into the wall. Now I'm just holding the power strip itself, but wait and see how it jumps when I touch the cord of the power strip.
Wow.
And this has nothing plugged into it. It was almost 16 when I did this reading earlier. Now I'm going to step on the grounding mat and it drops to 0.15. That's a big jump. But it's cool to have this device. It's a cheap device that you can have to measure the invisible fields around you that are harming you, you know? I mean, that's what we need to do is start cleaning up our environment. Because like I talked about in one of the classes, I mean, even if you do things like you have a metal roof on your home, you think you're protecting yourself from the outside electrical magnetic frequencies. But if you don't clean up the frequencies inside your home, you're trapping all those inside with the metal roof. And now there's no way for them to get out. So when you're using your phone inside your home with a metal roof, now those signals are bouncing off the roof and hitting you multiple times, because they can't escape. So having a simple device like this is really cool. And you can monitor the frequencies around you, like if you're sleeping, pay attention to where the Wi-Fi router is compared to what it's connecting to. If your son's bedroom is behind you and he's using the internet and the Wi-Fi is on the other side of your bedroom, you're getting bombarded with that all night long, So like I said, this isn't a cure-all, but it's a very powerful tool, grounding is, and a cheap thing to do as well. I mean, it could be free if you just want to use the earth itself, to improve your health. And I actually, when I first started dabbling with grounding years ago, 1 second. When I first started dabbling with grounding years ago, I made my own grounding mat out of aluminum wire screen, just some aluminum screen for a window. And I taped it to my bed with some conductive aluminum tape and hooked up a copper wire to it and ran it out my window down to the ground. So there's a lot of different things that you can try. But a lot of them are pretty cheap, even the grounding mats. If you don't want to go to earthing.com, their products are a little bit pricier. You can find cheaper options on Amazon as well. So, but I'll open it up to questions if anyone has any questions or comments.
Go for it, Kurt.
Sure. I saw your comment, Tammy, about the power strips, and I agree. My house has many, just about everywhere where I need them. My question would be, are there any differences in power strips? I know that in hospitals, they require them to be medical grade, but as far as I know, that doesn't do anything for what you're talking about. That just makes them not break.
Yeah, I don't, yeah, I'm not really sure on that. I'm sure now with the awareness of this type of stuff that there are better power strips that you can get, but most of them are surge protectors. You know, they're not real. That's the most powerful one that you can find, I guess, but it doesn't do any difference energy wise for us or harming us wise. So there are, like, for dirty electricity, there are things called Stetzer filters that you can buy for your outlets before you plug different devices in, which do help with some of the harmful effects of the devices that are plugged in. So that's something that you can look into as well.
Awesome.
Yep. Or you could even, you know, just as long as you have a grounding mat nearby, it doesn't even have to be like mine's on the floor at my computer, but you can put the mat underneath your keyboard. You know, like if you're working in an office and you don't want to sit there with your shoes off, rest your wrists on it. Because like I said, it doesn't have to be your whole entire body or a large portion of your body that touches it. You can just have a little portion of your skin touching it. And they also make, couldn't find mine to show you tonight, but they also make they're like elastic bands that go around your wrist with a little metal plate that touches your wrist. And you can use that for grounding as well. You just snap it, put the little snap on it, and then put it the other end in the grounding port.
Have you mentioned the elastic bands with the grounding before? Do you have one that you recommend? That's
well,
not
all the different grounding companies usually sell them.
have that.
I like earthing.com.
Right.
Their products are a little bit more costly, but they are, I think, a little bit better quality as well. So,
Right.
yeah, I like to use the bands when I'm meditating. So, like in my meditation pyramid, or I'm sitting somewhere, or I'm out in the living room doing some work on my computer or whatever out there. I'll take my laptop out there sometimes, and I take my band out with me.
Nice. Okay.
But ideally, what I do is I like, if you can, wherever you're going to be mostly throughout the day, which is mostly work and sleep. Those are the two best options for you to start cleaning up your work environment. And if you can't do your work environment because you're constantly moving all the time, you know, you can do your sleep, because, you know, that's when we heal. We need to get proper sleep in order to heal properly. And it helps reduce inflammation. It helps you get better rest. So I think you'll find that you won't have trouble sleeping anymore if you start using a grounding mat.
Awesome. Marianne.
Yeah, Lisa, can you, instead of, like, say this time of year, can you just touch the ground with your hands instead of going barefoot, and that'll work?
Yeah, that's how gardeners, I mean, that's how we mostly got grounded in the olden days. You know, we were out gardening all the times and our hands were in the soil. Yep.
Thank you.
Good way to do it too. Yep.
Thanks, Marianne. Dawn.
You're muted, Dawn. Oh,
Okay. Hey, Lisa, great presentation.
Hi, thank you.
This is going to be kind of a stupid question, I think, but I'm going to ask it anyway. I sleep with a electric mattress pad underneath me, so it's like kind of like a heated blanket, but underneath.
Yeah.
So that's not a good thing, obviously.
No, you can use it with it, but So that heated blanket isn't just providing heat to you, you're radiating yourself as well while you're sleeping. So if you can learn to go without the heated blanket, that might be a better option for you. But I would use it in unison with the grounding mat as well. Like I said, it doesn't have to, if you, how big is your pad?
Well, it covers the whole mattress. And so I lay on top of it.
Yeah, so I would just use like one of the little mats that I have underneath your pillow or whatever. I've tried sleeping with the wristband on before and it doesn't work very good because I'm moving around and you get all tangled or whatever. But I would definitely use a grounding device even with your mat.
Really? Or just should I get rid of the mat altogether?
Well, ideally you should because it's doing harm to you more than anything. So.
Okay.
But what I would do is, why don't you get one of the multimeters and test out your energy, because you'll see how greatly your energy is affected when you sit on that mat and turn it on. And then when you touch the ground, how it reduces it instantly.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do that.
Get a
Thank
lot
you.
of use out of it. It's a good device to have and it doesn't cost that much.
Yeah. I'm sure I could use it for other things too. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You wouldn't like sleeping in my house. My windows are open and I have a fan on.
Yeah.
It's got to be cold in my bedroom.
So do I. I like sleeping with the fan on too, mostly for the noise, but yeah. Wind actually is an electron stealer. So it actually creates you to be more tired as well.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like cool rooms for sleeping because I think you sleep much better when the room is cool instead of stuffy and hot.
Yeah. I feel like I'm suffocating if I have to breathe
Oh,
hot air. So I'm like, I need it cold too.
Yep,
I'm always, yeah, Sean's always yelling at me because I open the window and it's like 28 degrees outside.
That's me. Martin.
Lisa, thank you for the presentation and all
Yes.
the presentations. Very good. One other comment on wind is it's also a dehydrator. It will dehydrate you very quickly. So that also makes you feel tired and sluggish.
Okay.
My question with the grounding mats, you mentioned you can lie on them, sit on them with clothing. They have to be natural fiber.
Yes, they have to be cotton, silk, or linen. Those are the three conductive materials. Wool as well is conductive. But you're not going to be as grounded as if you were having skin contact with it, of course, but you would still have some grounding.
Okay.
So that's good. That's good, I think, for like animals who have fur. It's nice to know that they can still get grounded on a grounding mat, because that was my concern is, the dogs, of course, are being grounded when they're stepping on it with their paws. But if they're laying on it, which grounding mats help a lot, especially with older animals who are suffering with arthritis pain. If you can get them a grounding mat, that helps them a lot as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's awesome. Thank you. Kurt.
Hi, not a question, but just a comment. When you were talking about the wristband of the piece of metal, it reminded me at IBM, whenever you would start to work on anybody's computers or servers or whatever they were, you had to be grounded, and they put that wristband on your arm so that you would, because they said the amount of energy that comes off of your fingertips would just fry a card. So
really,
yeah,
wow.
Especially if you did something like before you started working on it, grabbed a piece of tape off of a dispenser and just put it on a piece of paper or whatever you were taping. That energy that was created just before you started, they just said, ground yourself. Please don't ever not be grounded at IBM. So it was interesting that when you mentioned that there must be enough bad energy coming off of your body normally.
Yeah, well, I mean, look in the winter time when the air is more dry and you're sliding out of your vehicle and get zapped by your door handle.
Right,
it's always,
right.
That time of year as well. But that shows you just how much electricity you have generated too. And if you're not grounding yourself, you're going to get zapped even harder because your body has nowhere to discharge that energy. So
Okay.
shuffling around your carpet at home, you're probably getting zapped all the time too, because you're not grounding yourself. So once you start grounding yourself, you shouldn't be discharging all that static energy either.
That's an interesting statement. I never thought about that because it used to be, I'm petting the dogs in the house and I was zapping one of my dogs like all the time, the
Yep.
longest time. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So that was because I wasn't grounded. Is that
Your body has no place to discharge that
Yeah.
energy. So yeah. But I mean, like Sean will go to give me a kiss sometimes, if I'm not grounded, and zaps me in the lips, it hurts. So it's pretty, yeah, it can be pretty strong.
I never thought about that. I mean, I understood the static electricity part of things, but I never thought about it as far as not being grounded. I haven't had that problem for a long time. But I do remember a long time ago, I used to be zapping my poor dogs as I'm trying to pet them, Yeah. They didn't like
Yep.
it.
I bet.
Weird. You're muted, hon.
Thanks very much for your presentation. It's very informative.
Thank
I have a
you.
question. If I use a grounding product such as a mat to discharge some of the energy that I've picked up, it isn't grounding also if I will I not get the benefits of like stepping on the earth and actually receiving additional negative charge from the earth?
You get the
Is the grounding tool more limited than true grounding?
Yeah, you get more benefits if you can do it directly on the earth. You get more benefits if you use a grounding rod that's connected directly to the earth instead of using the grounding port in your electrical outlet as well. So, but you still get a lot of benefits if, just using the regular grounding port as well in your home, as long as the meter reads that it's a correct connection for you to do so. But yeah,
Well,
if you can connect directly to the earth, especially while the sun is out, because the sun is an electron donor. So you're recharging yourself, you're getting rid of the negative energy, you're building your body up with positive energies in a couple ways. So
another question would be, I like plants and I have some house plants. Is there any benefit and they're just sitting in pots with dirt in them, but is there any benefit to grounding those pots to an outlet or placing my hand on the dirt?
yes, there is. So yeah, definitely. And even magnetic energy, the plants they really resonate with magnetic energy. So you can get some neodymium magnets and put on the pots and they'll appreciate that. But yeah, definitely the grounding rods would work really good with the plants.
All right, say the magnets again. What kind of magnets?
Neodymium, Neody, dymium, I can't, let me see.
Okay, I'll look it up.
Where's the chat? I can't find the chat. Oh, it's under more.
Never heard that before.
Here, I'll type it in the chat real quick.
Yeah,
Do I need to ground my house plants or because of the presence of dirt, are they already happy and grounded?
They're not grounded because they're not connected to the earth. So they will benefit greatly if you do. That's what I have a greenhouse and Sean wanted to make beds for me, but I prefer to grow directly in the dirt just because of the grounding energies. I'm also doing experiments with earthworms, redworms, composting and things like that to see the benefits. Even the animals that I raise rabbits and I raise them colony style. So they have that connection to the earth outside as well. The chickens too, they free range. So they have that grounding energy.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Richard. Jen.
Thank you. You're doing a wonderful job. You're a great presenter.
Thank you.
I try to ground outside every day. It doesn't always work, but it's getting a lot colder out there. So today I did for a little bit, but how long is beneficial? Like I did 20 minutes. but it was not on the grass too, not always in the dirt.
So there's a lot of different, I guess. So first, they don't, from what I'm reading, is that it's more beneficial when the ground is warm. That you can ground, I mean, you can do grounding inside, so that might be something that you want to do. The grass is going to be, it's conducting, but it's also an insulator. So you're not going to get that good of a connection. So if you only have a short time, I would go outside and stand on a dirt spot or on concrete, even though it's going to be colder on your feet. But I think I mentioned this in the last talk. Some people have sand, like a plate of sand that they heat up in the oven. They warm the sand in the oven and then they take it outside. I thought it would be really cool because I do the meditation pyramids, and we make ones that you could actually stand up inside, and I could do the base of it, filled with sand, and kind of put like a tent structure on the outside, kind of make like a little pyramid tent that you can sun gaze in with warm sand or something on the bottom.
That's very
That's
cool.
interesting. I work with children, so we have a teepee outside, but it's made of a shower curtain.
Oh,
So if I
that's
put
cool.
could move that to a nice dirt spot and then take my sand out too, have both
Yeah.
things going.
Yep, exactly. That would be
Oh my
cool.
gosh, that'd be hilarious. People would really be wondering what I'm doing.
She's a witch. That's what they'd say.
No, I think soon you're going to be doing this too. You just don't know. That's what I think myself.
Exactly.
For some reason, I don't have a hand that goes up. It's really weird.
Oh,
I don't have the reaction hand. I have a wave hand and I put it on and then it goes down. And it's never happened before, but I do have a question.
Go ahead.
Nice presentation. Very nice.
Thank you.
I had heard somewhere that because there's so much electricity, particularly in the cities, that it actually is in the ground now.
Yeah.
Have you heard that too? It's just sad.
Yeah, I mean, even the radio frequency, there's all kinds of frequencies, not just like the power lines and the radio waves and the EMFs. I mean, there's so much that we're being bombarded with all the time, let alone the poisons that they're spraying us with and that are in our food and this and that. So I can only imagine how. I bet we do fly. I bet we probably can fly. We probably do have superpowers. We're just being bombarded so much that we can't even access them at this point. But just imagine if we cleaned up everything, cleaned up all the poisons, cleaned up all the signals, where would we be?
Also, I do have a grounding mat. I'm actually sitting on it and my chair is on it. Although I'm seeing that well, no, I guess I'm touching it, but the legs of the chairs are metal, so I guess I really got to make sure that my feet are on it and the legs of the chair aren't, I guess, because metal, I don't know what metal.
No, the chair's not electric, so it shouldn't affect the grounding mat. Unless it's like, sometimes they just stop working, and I don't know why. It doesn't look like they're made out of much to not work anymore. So I don't know, but that's what it's nice to have one of these, because then you can test your mats and see if they're working properly or not.
And
I prefer to get the mats over the sheets, because there are, like the pillowcase that I showed you that's made with silver thread. Those seem to be like, you wash them a couple times and then they don't work anymore, and they're more expensive than the mats.
Yeah.
So
I actually now I guess this is really different than electromagnetic fields, because I do have sheets that actually one above me and one below me, because I'm in a condo, that do and I have a tri-field meter. They do seem to stop the EMFs, but that's different than those are different than grounding, I think, basically.
Grounding will do the same thing. It helps your body
so it's just different.
Recover. It helps your body get rid of the buildup of energy. And so those electrical magnetic frequencies are what's causing your body to build up of energy.
EMFs are just another frequency in the range, I guess, but
yeah.
And the Stetzer, I've heard of the Stetzer. I think I've even bought one, but I've heard they don't work sometimes because our houses have dirty electricity in them.
Well,
So-
that's what they're supposed to be for. I want to look more into them.
Yeah.
Charlie, that from Stargate Pyramids, my business partner, he is familiar with those devices. He's used them before, and I think he's sold them before. So I want to get more information from him. I haven't tried them myself, but luckily I live in the country, so I don't have a lot of frequencies around me, and I can clean them up easier. But I can't imagine being in the city and not being able to control everybody around you's I mean, all that they're blasting you with all their signals and stuff too. I mean, it's easier to connect, figure out what you're doing and fix it, but not what everybody else is doing.
The dirty electricity, from what I understand, if I remember, is in that because a house isn't wired as well as it should be. But it'd be interesting. I wonder how do you test the Stetzer? I don't know. I don't
know, but that tri-field meter, I believe, would help with detect dirty electricity. I'm not sure. I'll have to figure that out for you, because dirty electricity is, it's mainly rogue electricity that's just jumping around on different metal objects. So, for instance, I wear plastic frames on my glasses because if you wear wired frames and you have dirty electricity, it will run rogue around your eyeglasses and cause eye damage. The same with underwire bras for women. Those underwires will pick up that dirty electricity and cause breast cancer and different breast issues. One of the reasons I got rid of my mattress, my boyfriend thought I was crazy because he had this really nice bed when we first got together, and I made him throw away his bed springs because I'm like, they pick up dirty electricity and pretty much cook you while you're sleeping, so we just have a regular mattress now with a wood plank underneath it, and we love it.
Yeah, and I had plastic frames, but one of them had actually a metal thing going through it. Some of the plastic actually has a metal piece going through it, which is not good. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Janice.
It was a nice presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Janice. All right, we got room for one question, Gail.
Yes. First off, I'm going to thank you, Lisa. I loved your presentation. I've been wanting to learn more about grounding, and it's really cool to know that just putting my hands in my garden, which, I always feel best out there, that's keep grounding me. That's so cool.
Yep.
I wanted to go further in the gardening, in the indoor plants. I'm also interested in the electroculture. Copper. And so I thought I'd try with my potted plants. I got some copper rings left over from some project. I put one in this orchid that hasn't bloomed in like 15 or more years. And I put it in several others, and those plants are doing well. Well, all of a sudden, the orchid it's a dendrobium. It put out a stalk, and it's got 2 flowers. I was just blown away with how cool that was,
Yeah. Well, they're fighting the same energies that we are, So when we start cleaning up the environment and allowing them to grab their full potential, just like us, maybe they'll be able to fly someday too. I don't know.
Thank you.
Mine with our plants. All right, very good. Thank you so much, Lisa, for teaching us more about grounding. Thank you everyone for attending tonight. This is recorded, so I will have this uploaded as soon as it's done rendering. All right, you'll be able to see it at another time. So
Awesome.
very good.